It was a gray Tuesday morning when Sarah rushed out of her modest apartment, balancing a worn leather handbag on her shoulder and her 3-year-old son, Noah, in her arms. She had pressed his little jacket neatly, brushed his curly hair, and whispered encouragement into his ear. Today wasn't just any day. It was the day she had been waiting for. The day she would finally prove that she could provide a better life for them both. She had been up most of the night preparing. Her resume was tucked carefully into a folder, every word checked and double-checked. She had rehearsed her answers in front of the mirror, practicing confidence even though she felt anything but. Her reflection often reminded her of the things life had taken away. A husband who left without warning, friends who drifted away when times grew tough, and a career she never got the chance to build. But Sarah was determined. This interview at Harrington Enterprises was her chance to turn the page. As the bus jolted down the city streets, Sarah held Noah tightly, whispering promises. "Just one good job, sweetheart. That's all we need. Mommy will make everything better." He smiled, too young to understand the weight she carried, but his trust gave her strength. When she arrived at the tall glass building, she felt dwarfed by its size and the people who swept past her in suits that seemed to scream success. She adjusted her second-hand blazer and lifted her chin. She had every right to be here. At the front desk, she explained her appointment, but the receptionist's gaze dropped to Noah, clinging shyly to Sarah's leg. Her polite smile thinned, almost disappearing. "You brought your child?" the receptionist asked with a raised brow. "Yes," Sarah replied, her voice gentle but steady. "I couldn't find childcare this morning, but I promise he'll sit quietly." The receptionist tapped her nails against the desk, then sighed. "Wait here." She made a call in hushed tones, her eyes darting towards Sarah with thinly veiled disapproval. Moments later, a woman in a sleek gray dress and sharp heels approached. She was one of the hiring managers. Sarah recognized her from LinkedIn. The manager's eyes flickered to Noah, then back to Sarah. "I'm sorry, Miss Carter," she said with professional detachment. "We can't conduct an interview under these circumstances. It's inappropriate to bring a child." Sarah's stomach dropped. "Please," she whispered, stepping forward. "I had no choice. I've prepared so hard for this. He'll stay right here next to me. I can do this." The manager shook her head. "We can't take that risk. Thank you for coming, but..." Her words were cut off by the sound of polished shoes against the marble floor. The crowd at the lobby seemed to part as a tall man in a perfectly tailored suit walked in. He carried himself with the quiet authority of someone used to being noticed, though his expression was calm, almost warm. The receptionist straightened immediately, whispering, "Mr. Harrington." It was him, the CEO, Jonathan Harrington. The name everyone in the business world knew. A self-made millionaire who had built the company from the ground up, admired for both his ruthless brilliance and surprising philanthropy. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. Jonathan's gaze swept across the room and landed on Sarah, on the small boy clutching her hand. He slowed, curiosity flickering in his eyes. "Is there a problem here?" His voice was deep, steady, carrying a quiet command that made everyone pause. The manager straightened nervously. "Sir, this candidate brought a child to the interview. I was just explaining that it's not appropriate." Jonathan raised a hand, silencing her. Then he turned to Sarah. "What's your name?" "Sarah Carter," she said softly, her cheeks burning. "And this little one?" he asked, his gaze dropping to Noah, who peeked out shyly. "Noah," Sarah replied, tightening her grip on his hand. Jonathan crouched slightly, lowering himself to the boy's level. "Hi, Noah, are you helping your mom today?" Noah nodded solemnly, and a rare smile touched Jonathan's lips. He straightened and looked at the manager. "Reschedule the others. I'll take this interview myself." The room fell silent. The manager's jaw tightened, but she nodded quickly. "Of course, sir." Sarah blinked in disbelief. You'll interview me?" Jonathan gestured toward the elevators. "Come on, both of you." As they rode up to the executive floor, Sarah's heart raced. She couldn't believe what was happening. Inside the sleek corner office, sunlight spilled across bookshelves, modern art, and a desk that seemed to hold a world of power. Jonathan motioned for her to sit. Noah climbed onto her lap, clutching his toy car, and for a moment Sarah felt painfully out of place. Jonathan leaned back in his chair, studying her with steady eyes. "Tell me, Sarah, what made you bring your son here today knowing the risks?" Her throat tightened. She wanted to say something polished, something perfect. But the truth tumbled out instead. Because I didn't have a choice. I'm a single mom. His father left when he was a baby. I work nights cleaning offices just to cover rent, but it's not enough. I've been applying everywhere, and this interview, it meant everything. I couldn't afford a babysitter this morning, but I couldn't let this chance slip away either. So I brought him because he's my reason for all of this. Jonathan was silent, his gaze unreadable. For a moment, Sarah feared she'd ruined everything. Then he spoke. Do you know how many people walk into interviews rehearsed to perfection, saying what they think I want to hear? You came in with honesty. That matters more to me than polish. Sarah's eyes stung. But I don't want pity. I want a chance. I can work hard. Harder than anyone if it means giving my son a better future. Jonathan's expression softened and he leaned forward. I believe you. He began asking her questions, real questions about her skills, her past experience, her ideas for improving efficiency in the role. Sarah answered with quiet determination, her nerves fading as passion took over. She spoke about her years of juggling schedules, managing tight budgets, and coordinating tasks in her cleaning job, all skills that translated into the administrative role she was applying for. Jonathan listened intently, occasionally glancing at Noah, who sat quietly drawing shapes on a notepad Jonathan had slid across the desk. For the first time, Sarah felt seen, not as a burden, not as a desperate mother, but as a capable woman with something valuable to offer. When the interview ended, Jonathan closed the folder with her resume and looked at her. You have potential, Sarah. More than potential, you have grit. I started this company in a tiny garage, after being rejected by a dozen firms who said I wasn't good enough. I know what it feels like to be dismissed. That's why I believe in giving people chances others won't. Sarah's heart pounded. Does that mean? Jonathan smiled. Welcome to Harrington Enterprises. The position is yours. Tears welled in her eyes as relief washed over her. She held Noah close, whispering, we did it. As Sarah left the building that day, sunlight streaming across the glass facade, she felt a shift deep inside her. For years she had been defined by rejection, by closed doors and whispered judgments. But not anymore. Someone had seen her worth, not despite her being a mother, but because of it. And from that day forward, everything changed.